Namaste. Today I'll be talking about a small booklet which was originally published in French. The title is Le Grand Sacré, written by La Mère. The English translation goes as The Great Secret by the Mother. The book was published in 1954 as a small booklet. There are many versions, many translations rather, 11 different languages, 4 international and 7 Indian. And later it has taken place in a big volume entitled On Education by the Mother, published by Sri Aurobindo Ashram, Pondicherry. What is this? The Great Secret? What is the secret? It is actually a drama, and it was written to be played for the students and teachers of Sri Aurobindo International Center of Education. There at SAICE, they have this tradition to play a drama and to convey a message through drama. And the mother used to write by herself the drama for the students and teachers. It is about 6 monologues and 1 conclusion. What is the great secret? It is actually symbolic. Why have I taken this one which was written in 1954? Because it is as relevant as it was at that time, and it is very much required today. What is it about? There are 6 great men, 6 great personalities of the world, outstanding personalities in 6 different fields, different areas. They were going to participate in a world conference on human development. Naturally, because they all represent their means a particular field, their respective fields, and they are outstanding people, and they were going to talk about their achievements and to guide the world about the human development, the human progress. Today, we are also in a race for progress. But what happens to these 6 men? The ship that was carrying them to the conference, this was written in 1954, so they were all traveling by ship, by a ship. It sank midway in ocean, in mid-ocean. And it was a coincidence that these 6 great men all together were brought in a lifeboat. But in lifeboat also the water was running out. There were no provisions. There was no chance of any horizon being seen, and it was a miserable situation. And they felt that now it is the end time. They will not survive any more, any longer. The outstanding men with outstanding achievements, going to speak about their achievements in a conference, in a world conference on human progress. The ship that carried them sank in mid-ocean. This is symbolic. I think the world today we are passing through, the time we are passing through, is also something like that. We are taken aback. What is this? Are we going, is the world going in right direction? What is the contribution of developed countries? Developing countries are going in which direction? Ultimately, what are we doing? And what is the purpose of education? What are we teaching? If a man becomes successful, then what is the purpose? Does he attain the actual purpose of life? That is the question. And that is what is this drama is about. So they realize that now it is their end. And as it usually happens, to take their minds away from their misery and from this fear, they start talking about their own life, life episodes. There is an unknown man. I said the seventh man is an unknown person. He is dressed as if he does not belong to any country or any race or any time, any period. He is very silent, immobile. This sixth man, the great people, they don't take notice of him. He is ignored. Now this sixth man start talking about their lives. The first one is the statesman. The statesman, he says, I was son of a politician from my childhood. I knew about political affairs and government issues, and I had very big dreams. He took the career of political science. He was a brilliant scholar. He was a good person. He wanted to do something for humanity. But then, actually, when he started working, he realized that it is not easy to convert your ideas into practice, and there are many compromises to be done. And actually, the person's worth is not its capacity, but its adaptability with people. That was his first observation. Next, what happens? He becomes prime minister of a country. And then he thinks that, oh, I had very great dreams. I don't want to be merely a party man, because I know each political party, in each ideology rather, has its advantages and disadvantages, and there has to be a synthesis. He tries, but he fails. He could not give a solution which could synthesize the different perspectives. He wanted a harmony between nations, but he had to wage a war. And he then says that I am acclaimed as a great person. I am honored, and I am in fact known as a friend of humanity because of my achievements. But I know what I have done, and I am not happy with it. And when the end is approaching, I feel that I could have done better. Whatever I did was not worth. So this is the humiliation he has at the end. And he speaks out the actual truth, the actual secret. Because otherwise, if I mean, had he gone to to participate in the conference in on human progress, he would have narrated his achievements. But here, because he sees his own end, then he speaks the truth. Next is the writer. The writer says, oh, I believe that word is everything. With word, you can express material as well as subtle things. And I thought that by using my own words, I can do a great service to humanity and I can express everything, the secrets of nature, of the feelings, the emotions, everything I can express, and that is what is the ultimate. He writes several best world acclaimed articles. He writes novels, he writes dramas, he writes uh, very big, means finally he writes an epic and he puts his all efforts into that. But then he says that I know that I have not served the truth. I have not, what I did was just scratching the nature from the surface. I could not actually know or actually express the body of nature. And he says that I am dumb and I feel that my life just went in vain. A famous, well known writer who could write in the style of Wordsworth and Ved Vyas and all that, Valmiki and all. He speaks names of all Milton, Shakespeare, all great people. And that he adopted that style, and it was not new for him. It was not impossible for him. He was a very accomplished person and writer. He had to serve. He wanted to serve, but he could not serve. Another great man, so-called great man, he says, I failed. Third is a scientist. Scientist says, to me, it is the ignorance that is a curse on the world. And it is, if one gets knowledge, then the standard of living improves and the person automatically becomes a better person. That is what he understood, who he thought of, like many other people who struggle for gaining higher knowledge. He says on the platform, from the platform of science, that yes, it is the science through which we can know nature, and it is the science through which we can serve humanity, and it is the science which can help for the for improve not only improving the standard of living but to make them better human beings. What happens? He takes the career of uh, atomic energy and particularly radioactive scientist. He initially discovered electricity, generation of electricity with the help of nuclear process. It was a boon. It was useful. And he was happy that, oh, he never thought that his discovery will be so useful to humanity. But then it did not last long because in a process of his research, during the process of his research, he discovered something, a process through which using a common using common metals like aluminium and copper, one can make an atom bomb. And then he realizes, he gets a shock. Can I make this public? Can I give this solution? Can I reveal this discovery that I have done? I have made. Then he says that no, my mind and my heart both said no. Because if this comes to anybody's hands who is not having good intentions, then he can blow off the world. And he realizes that science cannot make a person a better person. He also realizes that it is not possible to know all the truth, the actual truth or actual reality of nature through science. The theories are just probabilities, and there are theories after theories, theories after theories, and it is actually subjective study. We call it objective, but the person is a part of the universe, and when he is a part of the universe, while making measurements, he changes the universe, go on infinitesimal platform, but it is not the same as what we measure, is not the same reality. He says, I'm helpless. And I am telling you about my this discovery because I know that nobody will tell anybody, because we all are going to think now. So that is the actual situation of a scientist. Next is the artist. Artist says, oh, I could express everything through my brush, and means I learned the art of painting, and I was encouraged. Initially, I was not encouraged by family, but later, when uh, I got many prizes and I was admired, that then everybody encouraged him, and he becomes a well-known artist. His paintings were kept in big museums, and then he created many art forms and all that. He studied all types of art forms, but he says no. I also feel that I could not actually create something. I'm far, far, far away from the actual reality. What is life for? It has not given. It has not allowed me to touch the real truth. Next is the industrialist. Industrialist is a son of a blacksmith, and he developed a motorized car for the first time in the world. And because that was the time when induction uh, engine came for the first time, and then it means he says that there was no end. I wanted to create it, make it better and better, better and better, better and better, uh, and then he uh, he feels that, oh, whatever, I mean, he develops his own empire. He becomes a big man, big industrialist, big businessman, very rich, many people working under him. He had his own company of sophisticated cars, but he says that actually I was the one responsible for generating a sense of greed among my employees, among the people I worked for rather, the entire community. And he says that, yes, with transportation, one could minimize the distances, but actual distance between human beings could not be minimized. He says, I also feel I am a failure. Next is the athlete. He says, "Oh, he was a son of sportsman, and means his both parents were sports persons, and he was trained to be a sportsman, and uh, his body was trained with all that was required, with due grace, agility, strength, power, everything he had. He was a champion in many sports. He won national championships. He got international. He won Olympic games also. He got in Olympic games also. He got a prize. He was made the minister for physical education. He opened up his own institutes. He guided many other countries also. But then he says that I know that I am a slave of my own nature. I cannot overcome my natural deficiencies, limitations, and I do not have any control over my desires. I do not have even control on my illness. That is not, I mean, that he could not attain, and he says that I am also helpless. I feel that my life went in vain. So this is the story of all six great men. The seventh person, the unknown man, he listens to all of them very quietly. Now he starts speaking. He says, I have heard all of you very carefully. All of you have a similar experience, although you were from different parts, from different fields, but you have arrived at a same conclusion. And the main reason behind that is it is means you all wanted your own good as well as the good of the humanity, but you could not do it because you are living in a mental consciousness. You are the elite of mankind. You are the example of what a man can reach to the highest. But at that summit, there is a limitation. Man cannot, means what man can attain is only this much with the given expertise. For in order to gain the higher truth, to get the correct reality, to know the correct reality, you should have different consciousness. You should advance to a higher consciousness. The way we have a common railway platform and we have a platform uh, for a faster train, naturally it will be different. So or for airport, the railway platform and airport, they are different. So uh, he says you have to go to a higher consciousness. What is this higher consciousness? He says we should understand the process of nature. He says in nature there is a process of evolution going on. We know that from matter came life. From life, it evolved to uh, mind, and we are at that mental level of consciousness. This is a process of evolution of consciousness. But it is mind is not the highest summit. One can go, one can ascend beyond, and one can go to a higher consciousness. In our simple words, we can say we can become better and better human being, but not limited by our mentality. We can have an intuitive faculty, we can have an illumined mind, we can be what is called spiritual uh, mindset, spiritual being. We can transcend to a spiritual being. Then he says that you will say that really, this is what religions are teaching, and they are calling it God. But he says religions and philosophies have failed because they have their limitations. They either end up into dogmas or rituals, and the other thing is the religions think of attaining blissful life after death. That you here nothing can be changed, but after the death you will get good life, and hence you should do this and that. So the problems of life in the world, they cannot be solved by religion or philosophies, and hence one should have this different consciousness, that from darkness one can go towards light, from ignorance one can go to truth, and one can attain wideness. So it is to one should try to enhance one consciousness, and if you enter into that consciousness, then whatever you do, these difficulties will not be there. You will be able to get the actual truth. That is what is the purpose of life. What are we living for? What is the education for? In the book on education, of which this is a part, this there are processes, there are different chapters in which it has been described how one can attain, one can transcend to a higher consciousness, and how in the light of that consciousness one has to train one's mind, One has to train one's vitals, one has to train one's body, but it will be under the light or under the influence, power, under the government of that light, and then it will be different. It will be a supramental consciousness. It will be under the supramental consciousness. So uh, this all the six men, they realized that yes, this is, nobody told them about this, and this is the actual truth. But then what to do? They said it is too late. Now nothing can be done. Then the unknown man says that no, it is never too late. Let us pray. So this is the first step one can do. Then they all pray that we serve that integral reality, integral truth, and maybe attain that higher consciousness. They all are quiet. They are invoking higher force, and suddenly, suddenly, there is a dot on the horizon. They could see another boat coming closer, and they were all very happy. And they say now there is a hope. And the unknown man said that yes, if we were to work for this higher cause on earth, if we are to transcend from human mentality to a higher mentality, which is the purpose of the process of evolution on earth, which is the purpose of our life, which is the aim of our life, which is the great secret behind this, then uh, we, we definitely we will be saved. And that ship comes closer. They show white handkerchief, and they all are happy, and finally they are saved. So this is what um, probably not probably but surely we all will be saved. We have to ascend to a higher consciousness. So, The Great Secret by the mother, La Grande Sacrée, La Mère. Thank you very much.